Now this is dealing with the heathens, okay? Because you got a whole bunch of people upon the face of the earth. They're not all for the same ilk, okay? The scripture talks about how there is in the house there's some vessels of honor and some vessels of dishonor. So you got into where you got some guys that are gonna be you got into where you got some nation some people within this world are really off the really are of the elect, and you got into where some people upon the earth, they're just heathens. Okay, they're gonna fill the role of being servants and handmaids. Continuing, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So the 12 tribes of Israel, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, we're gonna rule over their oppressors. Continuing, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord will give thee rest from thy sorrows and from thy fear and from thy hard bondage which thou was made to serve. And that goes to show you that you can't go about here establishing a so-called rest, okay, a so-called relaxation, okay, a mindset of being comfortable. That's a mindset that's against the ordinance, the order the Most High gave us. Okay, you read the scriptures, the book of 2 Peter, and many other scriptures alike, you find out that the Most High set it up to where what? That you were supposed to be hastening the day and looking forward to the coming of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. See, when you got a mindset of what? The evil days that ain't going to prevent us, well, the scripture says that the Most High was going to have it to where you was going to be caught, what's known as caught with your pants hanging down. Okay, you was going to be caught out. Because the evil day was going to come as a thief in the night. That's within the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. I could get that, all right? Going to show you that the mindset you're supposed to be in, is that if the kingdom ain't established, then you ain't really rested. You're supposed to be thinking that if the kingdom ain't established, man, the Most High, the Lord could come like that at any moment. Now the Lord said, look, certain things are going to play out, but really, does the Lord have to do that? Now he's going to do it. He's more likely going to do it than not do it. As in to say, you know, the exact process of delivering his people. But the Lord could shorten this man's time. That is to say, he might just cut out certain things and have it to where, you know, because he said he was going to destroy a particular nation at a particular time. But there's an example where he just said, you know what, that's too much wickedness. But so the Most High could cut this man's time short. That's what I'm trying to say. But really, even if he was to do that, it was still falling in line with what he had planned from the foundations of the earth anyway. Okay? It says here, so the mindset you're gonna be in the mindset the Lord could come as a thief in the night anyway, and when the rest was gonna come, when Yahweh establishes a kingdom within the earth, all right, to be set up forever, in righteousness. The book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. I'll start from the 3rd verse. It says, knowing this first, that in the last days they shall come scoffers, walking after their own lust. This is the time span that we're living in right now. Everybody's got an opinion upon everything. Okay, everybody's all of a sudden they're Bible scholars. Everybody's a professional. Okay, within every realm of studies. Okay, everybody's got an opinion about something. This is the time of the scoffing, and this is how we know we're in the end. Okay, because everybody's after, and that goes hand in hand with what the scripture says. Men shall be lovers of themselves. They're gonna be just doing all kind of BS because it pleases their belly to do so. All right. So it says, knowing this first, that they shall come in the last days, scoffers walking after their own lust, and saying, where is the promise of his comings? For since the fathers have fallen asleep, all things continue as they did from the beginning. And that's the mindset for the vast majority of people. That's why they speak about a thing of that's Bible times. Because they're thinking that the prophecies ain't coming to pass. They're thinking that these things, the things are written in the scriptures ain't playing out right. Why do you think you go into where America is sending out and setting up a so-called sector of the army out there into the skies? That goes back onto prophecy. How that the Michael and his angels were gonna fight up against the fight against the dragon. That was set up. That was set up from the foundation. Oh, okay.
She's back to from the dead.
Have a nice day.
You have a lovely day.
Okay.
I mean, how many hours? That must take a lot of hours to read that Bible.
Yep, but look, going back onto the scriptures now, it says, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the father, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers have fallen asleep, all things continue as they did from the creation. So that's why they have a thing of Bible times, man. Okay, they have a wording out there, a phrase out there of saying, look, that's Bible times. We're living in different times right now. Okay, because everybody's thinking everything's just doing is not being, the prophecies ain't being fulfilled, and this is not what's spoken about within the Bibles. That's why you have one that you gotta have a guy that's gonna teach you. Because if someone was gonna actually teach you what the scriptures are saying, you quickly come into finding out. And if you got an ear to hear it, because the scripture speaks about how the Lord spoke unto the different people in parables, because He was given unto only the elect to hear and understand, but as to the rest of the people, they didn't understand. That's why you break down the scriptures onto particular individuals. They don't get the scriptures because it wasn't set up for them to get the scriptures. Okay? But for some other people, they was going to get it. They was going to jive with it. They was going to be quickened by it. Okay? And they was going to be made alive. You're right, sweetheart. You're right, yeah? Okay? They was going to be quickened by it. They was going to be made alive. Okay? So it says there, the book of 2 Peter is the 3rd chapter, rather more the 5th chapter, the 3rd chapter on the 5th verse, it says, this, they willingly are ignorant of that by the word of the Most High, the heavens were of old and the earth standing out of waters, whereby the world that was then being overflowed perished. So the world that was back then, that was set up to what? To be destroyed. Okay, and it was destroyed by what? It was destroyed by way of water. That's where you have Noah and the ark, and you had it to where only was it 4 men and 4 women made it out. Okay, Noah and his 3 sons. So that's what 8 people made it out. Okay, so that's how it was set up back then. And Noah represented who? He represented the elect, because through Noah you had it to where the whole earth was re-inhabited again. Okay, but now we're living in the time where you have the spiritual ark being built up. Because that's what's happening out here. Remember, Noah was prophesying out there back in the times. Okay? But now you got the spiritual ark being built up with, the house of David and so on and so forth. That's being built up. But what's going to be the instrument of salvation? What's going to be the vehicle of salvation? The chariots of the Lord. What this man knows as UFOs. Okay, what this man knows as UFOs were really identifiable chariots, because when you go into the scriptures, the Lord said these are the vehicles that He travels by. Does He have to travel by that? Of course He doesn't have to travel by that. Okay? He doesn't have to roll like that, but that's just how He rolls. When you're done, when you're a power, you don't have to have a driver, but that's how you want to roll, man. You get your driver, you get the nicest car you can get. You don't have to roll like that. You can have a guy that's got so much money he don't want to travel anywhere unless he's on a horse. You can have that. That's just how you roll. And the way the Most High rolls with, he rolls with them chariots, man. Okay, that's just how He does it. Does He have to do that? Of course He doesn't have to do that, but that's how He does it. Okay, so it says here, the book of 2 Peter is the 3rd chapter, the 7th verse, which says, but the the heavens and the earth which are now, by the same word are kept in store, okay, and reserved unto the fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that this one thing, that one day is as with we read that again, as one day is as with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. So the Lord set it up, okay, Esau to rule. He's ruling right now, okay, and he's doing his thing. Okay, the world, the world is dying because of his evil. But it was been 400, 500 years. Esau's been ruling 400 years, really. Okay. So it's like that's not even 1,000 years. He hasn't even had one day with the Most High to rule. I'm not Muslim. Okay, he hasn't even had a day to rule. Okay, he hasn't even had a age to rule. So he's still gonna be removed from the earth. Okay, and nobody's gonna remember him. No one's gonna sympathize. Everybody's gonna rejoice at his downfall. We're gonna go back into the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter, and you're gonna see that. So going back onto the book of 2 Peter, the 9th chapter, to prove this point I was going into of that comfortable mentality. The comfort ain't set up yet. The comfort was for the kingdom to come. The Lord said that you was going to get rest when He was going to come back. Okay? So it says here, the Lord is not slack concerning His promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing any should perish, but all should come to repentance. So when Jake was set up, okay, really his mindset is like, look, all should come to repentance, but He set it up so that it wasn't of works, and He set it up to where there was going to be an elect, and the elect was going to be the ones that was going to come into the understanding of the truth. Okay? Not according to works, but of election. Okay? So it says here, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. That goes to show you your comfort, your mindset of comfort is for the kingdom to come. You're supposed to be reserving yourself unto the relaxation of the kingdom. If not, the scriptures say that the men of the Lord was going to be tired. Okay, how the nation or Israel was going to be tired up until the time that the Lord comes back, and then we was going to have rest. So even if you're trying to establish the scripture says that the maintenance of riches, okay, even if you get rich, the maintenance of riches driveth away sleep. I believe that's within the book of Proverbs or the book of Psalms. The maintenance of rich, or was it the book of Sirach? Maintenance of riches, you might get £1 million or £10 million, of which £1 million these days ain't really a lot. You buy a house or car, that's, depending on the area, that might be it. The million's done. Okay, but the maintenance of those riches, that's gonna drive away sleep. You're trying to pay the tax on this and try finding out how to maintain that for your no, that drive away sleep. But when the kingdom is set up, you was gonna have perfect rest because you wasn't gonna have to negotiate around the curses. Matter of fact, the scripture says that the blessings was gonna overtake us. So you might the Most High might piece you off with a particular thing, and the Most High deliver a next thing before you even go into the first thing. I mean, if you might have a guy that's you had 3 wives. You might have a son before you even get into the first son and be really like, that's my son. You might have another son, which those things were back in ancient times. Those were considered blessings. Okay, the same thing now. You might have let's say you win the lotto, you win the jackpot. Okay, you win I don't know 100 grand. Okay, you might just start spending 100 grand, and then you get another 100 grand. That's what the scripture says, that the blessings was going to overtake us within the kingdom. And then you can have rest. Right now, you got to look over your shoulders and see if the so-called tax man, he's coming at you. If he ain't coming at you, you got to look at the policeman. You got to think he's coming at you, especially if you're a Negro. Okay? Because the scripture says that this man was going to use his military, he was going to use his soldiers, okay, to express his hatred against you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. More so in the time of Jacob's trouble than now, but he was still going to do that. All right? So the rest is coming, but it ain't now. It ain't yet. You're going to be in a hastening in the day mentality. Okay? So it says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with a fervent heat, and the earth and the works thereof shall be burnt up. Seeing all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons or ye ought to be in all holy conversation and godliness. That's the mindset you're supposed to be if you're in this truth. You're supposed to be in the mindset of just pushing the word, man. Everything else is peripheral. Okay, the main bit is the pushing of the word. Everything else is peripheral, man. Okay, and like you might go out there into a chippy. Okay, we're in Britain, so you might go out there into a chippy. Okay, you get the fish and you get the chips, but the condiment, the ketchup and all of that. That's extra. That's peripheral. The main bit is the fish and the chips. But that's how your mentality is supposed to be within the truth. Okay. Everything else is the condiment. Okay, the salt, the mayonnaise, the chili sauce. Jake likes that chili. He likes that chili sauce. Okay, he comes, you go into a nigga's house asking me for the Tabasco and all of that. Okay, that's how Jake is. But that's the condiment. That's not the main thing, and that's how your mindset's supposed to be within this truth. Okay, everything else is peripheral. Jobs, okay, your woman, your children, peripheral. Just adding flavor to your life. The main bit of your life, your main objective was to push the word of Yahweh Hashem outside. Okay? Seeing then all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons or ye ought to be in all the holy conversation, okay, and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming day of Yahweh Hashem outside, when the heavens being on fire, okay, shall be dissolved, and elements shall melt with a fervent heat. So that's the judgment that's coming to Esau, right? That's the judgment that's coming to Esau. Reading the scriptures, we're reading about the judgment. Okay, we're reading about the judgment and how that Esau, so-called white man, his riches was gonna flow away. Okay, he was gonna be burnt up. Everything that he built up was gonna be burnt. All that's dealing with this man, bro. Right? So I'm gonna go back into the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter. So Isaiah 14, and this is now the 3rd verse. So it says, and it shall come to pass in the day, shall give thee a rest from thy sorrows and from thy fear and from thy hard bondage, which is hardcore slavery. Meaning to say, we're in hardcore slavery, right? Okay, that's an indication. Working every day of your life, 30 days holiday, you can't even take, you mean to tell me you can't take more than a month off? You can't take 2 months off? You gotta have a month, and that's considered rest? What if you got, what if you get ill? They give you a certain amount of days you can be ill, but what if you get ill? That's called hardcore slavery, bro. And then after that, this man's got the nerve to give you all kind of taxes. That's called hardcore slavery. But that's the age we're living in right now. Lord said when he comes back, he was going to give us rest from this hardcore bondage, hardcore slavery. When thou was made to serve, and thou shalt take this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say how the oppressor seized, excuse me, how hath the oppressor seized, and how hath the golden city seized. All right. Right now, you're looking at America, you're looking at Britain, you're like, man, these places, these are the places to be. All right, you're trying to make some kind of money, or you're trying to be affluent. You ain't trying to be affluent out there in Namibia. Okay, you ain't trying to be affluent out there in Sudan or somewhere. You're trying to get that record deal out there within the States. You're trying to get that that contract out there in the British. Okay, wherever them Edomites was gonna be. That's when you was gonna get the big cheese, the big dollars, the big contract. If you're a doctor, you ain't making no money out there being a doctor out there in I don't know somewhere in the east somewhere. Now you might make some money out there in Beijing, but you're a doctor. You're way up there in the them so-called favela type places. You ain't gonna be making no money out there because Esau ain't out there. Okay, but see now the thing is shifting. Okay, now the thing is shifting, and the power and the stronghold and the what's known as invincibility that Esau had, that's dwindling right now. That's what the scripture says. How is the oppressor seized? And the oppressor seizes because what? Because the Lord set it up. He set it up. He was going to have the scripture says that the Most High set up his bounds. Okay, that he cannot pass. The Lord set it up to where he was going to reign a certain amount of time, and after that period of time, he wasn't gonna have it to where he was gonna rule beyond that. That's the times we're living in right now, where he's on a downward spiral, what's known as circling the drain. All right. So when you have a kingdom set up, you have a period of time when the kingdom is on the up. Okay, they're expanding, they're conquering new territories. The Romans did that. They was going through a time called the expansion. Okay, expedition. In fact, I believe those words are synonymous. Okay, expedition and expansion. Okay, so they was expanding themselves for a period of time, and then there came the time for their downward spiral, where they wasn't expanding anymore. They wasn't doing as good as they used to do before, and their so-called morale went downward. That's the times we're living in right now. Time of licentiousness, okay, and moral decline. That's why this place is known as the Valley of the Shadow of Death. Okay, we're living in the time of moral decline. Okay, we're living in the time of the oppressor season, because his time is up. All right. And how the oppressor sees and says, the Lord has broken the staff of the wicked, which is military. Okay, his ability to have these nations in a chokehold. Okay, through his military. All right, because when you have 13 aircraft carriers, and your closest competitor hasn't got 13 aircraft carriers, you're doing all right. Okay, you're doing better than everybody else. Okay, you're going above and beyond to have dominance within the earth. That's how this man's got it. That's how this man's got it. But through certain deals that these countries are making between themselves, he's got it to where that leverage that he had upon people is not as good as it used to be before. Okay, it's going on the downhill. All right. So continuing, it goes into it and it says, how the oppressor seized. Okay, the Lord has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the ruler. He who smote the nations with a continual stroke. Okay, he who smote, what's that dealing with? That's dealing with the oppression that Esau puts on these different nations. Okay, that goes into the oppression that Esau puts on these different heathen nations. And we can read about that within the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. All right. Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Habakkuk 2 and 1. So it says, I'll stand upon my watch, I'll set me upon the tower, I will watch and see what he will say unto me, and what shall I answer when I am reproved? And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables. So that's why we do the videos. That's why we're out here, doing the prophecies and the different things to have it to where this word is being pushed out there, because that's the instruction, that's the order that we are under. Okay? So it says, the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. So the Lord spoke the words into existence, and they was gonna the world into existence by his word, and that was gonna, the different things was gonna take place in their order, in their time, in their appointment. All right. So it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end he shall speak. So at the end, when all is said and done, that he's gonna know, oh, okay, that was fulfilling that prophecy, that was fulfilling this prophecy, and this was fulfilling that prophecy. That's what everybody's gonna know. But that's how you're gonna know that surely it's a power that hideth himself, but he's still out here pulling the strings on everything. I mean, if an apple falls down from the tree, the Lord did that. Okay? If the wind blows in a particular direction, the Lord did. That goes to show you that the Most High is a power to be feared. Man, he at the same time, he's making leaves fall down in a particular land. He's making it to where leaves are growing in another land, and he's making it to where wars breaking out in another land and destroying the leaves off of all the trees there. You see how the Most High is, man? Okay? But at the end he shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, meaning to say there was going to be a period of time when you're thinking, man, damn, okay, it looked like this man's going to go on forever. That goes into the book of 1 Thessalonians, where the scripture says that what? When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them. That's 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, I believe. Okay, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction was going to come upon them. That's the times we're living in right now. We're living in a time where sudden destruction can come about any place. The scripture says that what an evil was going to come up against this man, and he wasn't going to know from whence it cometh. Roughly paraphrasing. This is the times we're living in right now. Okay, at the end they shall speak. Because it will surely come and it will not tarry. Because ultimately it doesn't tarry, because it's all coming. Everything's coming in its own time and its right time. Behold, his soul which is in him is lifted up. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright, but the just shall live by faith. Dealing with the pride of Esau and how his mindset is set up and how he thinks that he's good, he's gonna be doing this forever, he's gonna be good forever. That's not reality. The reality of the situation is you got an appointed time, and nobody's gonna feel sorry for you, and we're gonna see, we're gonna see your fall. And ultimately, okay, these nations are gonna see the best thing. One of the best things that the people